Righteous Felon Craft Jerky is the official jerky of BellyUpSports. For over a decade, Righteous Felon Craft Jerky has led the American meat snack revolution by concocting delicious, adventurous, U.S.-sourced jerky recipes for uncompromising carnivores across the country. With 15 different flavors to choose from, Righteous Felon has all jerky lovers covered, and by using promo code BELLYUP, you will get 15% off your purchase at RighteousFelon.com. Do your taste buds a favor today and rip into a bag of Righteous Felon jerky.
I said my thing about El Clásico. But even despite the fact that Barcelona lost, it was still very well. I think all in all a good performance from Barcelona. I just don't know what happened with Lewandowski. He's just not the same guy from last year, bro. He might need to start making some consideration for some moves, but with all that being said, man, we already knew this one thing, which was Xavi announced way early in the year that he will be stepping down as manager. Obviously, one of the things I believe he said that was he would step down if he felt that he wasn't capable of getting the job done for Barcelona. And obviously, the year before, wins La Liga. They were in the quarterfinals in the Champions League. Probably one of the most out of character exits that I've seen from Barcelona for some time. Against PSG, where there was a lot of controversy on that part. And but obviously, aside from all that, everybody knew Xavi was gonna leave. He said he was gonna step down, because now he feels he's just not capable of being the man in charge of Barcelona. And names have been linked with Barcelona. A bunch of names have been linked. Obviously, the people that you expect, the Zerbi over from Brighton, Amorim over in Sporting. I think there's rumors that he might have gotten the Liverpool job. There's rumors that he got a house in Liverpool. I don't know. We don't know. We won't know until something's official. Even Julian Nagelsmann has been thrown in for Barcelona. Though I believe Julian Nagelsmann just did sign an extension to stay as Germany's head coach. So that sucks for Bayern Munich. And I try not to talk. I do talk a lot of shit, but I try not to mention people from other podcasts often. But I will say this person has been messaging, has recently been saying a lot of comments on some of my recent posts on the X, the Wromburner podcast. He dropped an episode where he was going to try to fix Barcelona, and the thing is, for me, I just don't think he realizes how down bad Barcelona is right now. Barcelona is in one of the worst financial situations. And even with this Spotify deal that they have, even with all the things that they've been trying to do, I mean, now they might be resorting to getting away from Nike and making their own jerseys. So this is where we are with Barcelona. It's a very unique situation. And when it comes to to manage Barcelona, and I hate that I have to glaze Barcelona as much as I am right now, but there's just a certain type of manager that needs to come in with Barcelona. And Barcelona, it's really much a lot of just, copy and pasting from the guys that did it right. Obviously Pep coming in and bringing back the, el tiki-taka, the style that Johan Cruyff brought in, total football, was imperative. Bringing back La Masia. That if there was one thing that we all know about Barcelona was they had one of the best academies in the world, and so there's a certain type of manager that you need to have that can combine with stars and player development. You need that combination, and so but the thing is too, some of the stars of Barcelona have been academy players. Even Lionel Messi was an academy product of Barcelona. So it's not just, this is not the Barcelona job. It is something just completely different of its own. It is at its own category of respecting the traditions and cultures of Barcelona while trying to make sure that this team stays competitive. And I think the biggest challenge right now is that we're in a world that that's not the case anymore. Like the issue is now is in the way the game is now, it is an arms race. It is about going and getting the best players possible to compete. And let's be honest, Barcelona, there hasn't been many academy players that have been coming through the woodwork as well. I mean, you have Lamine Yamal now, but I mean, it's not like you have that generation, that core group of La Masia graduates that have been able to keep the culture right that Barcelona once had. And so it's a different time period, but it is someone that needs to have those qualities of a manager that has the qualities of understanding the culture of Barcelona and at the same time bringing in a new evolution to the team. And so kind of going back to Wromburner, he thought the best man for the job would be Hansi Flick. Now, I have nothing against Hansi Flick, but I mean, if we're gonna be really honest, and this is just me calling a spade, but what the fuck has he done? I understand that he had an amazing year with Bayern Munich where he won 5 trophies. 5 trophies in 1 year. He won the Bundesliga, he won the Champions League, he won the polka dot, the German Cup. But and it's like I don't want to use the pandemic as an excuse, but he won the last Champions League trophy that Bayern Munich won was during the COVID year, where you had one, they took away the 2-leg system. They was just a 1-game playoff because of COVID. You were playing in an empty stadium because there was no fans in the stadiums, and so that's how you won the Champions League. You won the Champions League in that way. And like I honestly was trying, and you know what, going back to obviously when we recorded and talked about that Champions League title, Edward wanted to throw an asterisk on it. Edward wanted to throw an asterisk on that Champions League, and I kind of didn't want to because I was like, you know what, it's you still have to play the tournament, but Edward was right. Edward was 100% right that you probably should throw an asterisk on that trophy because after that, what has Hansi Flick done? Because he goes to Germany and takes the Germany job, and Germany was not looking good. Weirdly enough, the guy that took over the Bayern Munich job, Julian Nagelsmann, who gets fired for some reason, I still have yet to understand the firing of Julian Nagelsmann. But Julian Nagelsmann gets fired, and then he gets the German job, and Germany now looks clearly Germany looks better because Julian Nagelsmann got a new contract with Germany. So, like, I'm sorry, but aside from that one period that he was with Bayern Munich, and since then hasn't really done anything since. What is it about Hansi Flick that would tell you that this guy is the top man or is the high candidate for the Barcelona job? Like, if you were to ask me, I would say De Zerbi is more qualified to manage Barcelona than Hansi Flick. That is just my opinion. But the only thing about De Zerbi and Amorim is just I'm not entirely sure if they have a connection to Barcelona. Because the thing is, if you look at previous managers for Barcelona, there is a connection to Barcelona. At some level, there is a connection to the club. So that is my thing, though, is you need a manager that has a connection to the club. Hansi Flick has no connection to Barcelona. Hansi Flick doesn't speak Spanish. While that seems like it's a dumb take to have, it's kind of important to Barcelona. He doesn't understand Spanish football. And I think that's also very much important for Barcelona. And so, yes, this was a really Hansi Flick. I believe I even laughed at the fact that this man was even a rumored to be interested in the job because I was like, this guy as a Real Madrid fan, I should want Hansi Flick to take the Barcelona job because that means Barcelona's just going to continue to struggle. I don't see any, and I do, once again, I want to state this again. I do think Hansi Flick is a good coach. I just don't think he's Barcelona material. I would give Hansi Flick the PSG job, see what he does with PSG, but I would never let, I think Bayern Munich worked out because of the resources he had at Bayern Munich, and that's that. He was like, what did he do with Bayern Munich? He didn't change anything with Bayern Munich from the guy before him. Like all he did was just stay the course, and he just happened to have a very loaded team. And it's Bayern Munich. Of course, they're going to win the Bundesliga. I mean, obviously they didn't win it this year, but he had a prime Bayern Munich team that had Robert Lewandowski in it. So yeah, you should win the Bundesliga, and for them winning the DFB Pokal, winning the Bundesliga is especially at that period of Bayern Munich. That's not a flex for them. It's to win a Champions League. They won the Champions League, but the thing is now we slapped this asterisk on them because it was won in a COVID year. You had no fans. You didn't have to play 2 leg matches. You didn't have to deal with home and away. You didn't have to deal with the home field advantage. There was no there was no going on the road. Like, you played your matches in this empty stadium. There's no advantage to it. It's literally a clean slate for both teams. Both of them have the same advantage. Doesn't matter. And obviously, there's no 2 legs now because now you just had a one-off playoff. So, yes, while Hansi Flick had an amazing season with Bayern Munich, it's nothing to really boast about. It's not something that really looks great on your resume because then you look at what he did after. And that's where I'm like, is he really that great of a coach if that's the case? Is he really that good? What is it from his tactics that tells you that he is? Because once again, I just think he just rode off of a really good Bayern Munich team. That's all I'm saying. And then also, I just don't think he could handle the Barcelona situation. I don't. I don't think there's really any. I don't think there's many managers that could handle this financial situation. Like, even, and I know that I mentioned Mikel Arteta, and weirdly enough, I did say Mikel Arteta would probably be perfect, but even then, like, he didn't deal with this level of financial struggle. And I'm not saying that Arsenal was dealing with financial struggles or anything, but I'm just saying that, like, with what he was limited with, he worked with it. But at the same time, but now, Arsenal's spending, so it's different. But the thing is with me is just that, like, and that's why I look at a guy like De Zerbi also, who I would think would be perfect. The only issue would, not perfect, but I think would be a good to see what he can do with like a big name club like Barcelona. But obviously the big issue would be, can he, can he handle this financial situation? Because the one thing we know from Brighton, they know how to find players of good quality, with good potential quality, and then they sell them for high price. And so the question would be, can De Zerbi come in, find these hidden gems, develop them, because we know he can develop players and, get them in, but at the same time, use La Masia. And I think that's going to be a real big advantage. If you talk about managers that know how to develop players, is you have La Masia at your disposal. You have arguably one of the best academies in the world at your disposal where you can, and I think a guy that can do a lot with player development like De Zerbi. And I'm only talking about outside candidates right now. I'm not going to talk about, the real 2 options for Barcelona, at least from what we're hearing from rumors. And I think De Zerbi, I think if you give him that La Masia Academy, I think he could make this team a definitely one to watch. And then maybe, as you're getting back in the finances, you need to sell away a lot of players too, by the way. Because there's going to be a lot of players leaving. That's why it is important to have this a manager like De Zerbi who could, train these guys, develop them, and then hopefully can still be competitive in La Liga. but it's a lot of hoping. I don't think Barcelona fans want to hear that. Now, after once again, I'm just gonna keep shitting on the Hansi Flick. Wromburner, I mean, believe what you want to believe, but Hansi Flick is just not a good option for Barcelona. Like, if anything, he's gonna make Barcelona significantly worse. That's my opinion. That's my hot take. If somehow Hansi Flick gets the Barcelona job and proves me wrong, I'll eat my words. But even from Barcelona fans, don't want this guy. So I don't think I'm in the wrong for believing it either. But there is rumored to be two options for Barcelona. This is like the rumors that we're seeing. And the two options are Rafa Marquez, which I would tell you, kind of, once again, Barcelona ties. That's important. You guys have to understand that is important. When I say you guys, I'm specifically saying Wromburner. But ties to Barcelona is a very important thing to Barcelona. Because he understands the culture of Barcelona. He knows the Barca way. And he knows tiki-taka. He's familiar with the academy. As a matter of fact, he's been managing a lot of the academy players. So if anybody knows these guys better than anybody else and knows how to put them in the right situation, it would be Rafa Marquez, because he's got first-hand experience on the potential players that are coming Barcelona's way. And I think to add on to the Barca connection, he understands the situation. He's not going to demand much for the sake of the club. So that's the other important part. Once again, how is his tactics gonna? What is his approach? What is his tactics? I don't know, but I can definitely assure you that he probably goes off of what he learned from his time at Barcelona. So I would say that it's probably a safe bet that it's going to be in some level tiki-taka. So that's option one. Option two is Xavi. That is correct, Xavi. So it has been very clear that in the rumors that Barcelona has been working very hard to try to talk Xavi out of quitting, out of stepping down. They have been trying to change his mind about stepping down from the job. Because at the end of the day, I do believe Xavi is in fact the right person for the Barcelona job. As much as I hate saying that, because let's be honest, last year, even with all the financial struggles, with the roster that he had, they won La Liga. It was behind Ter Stegen being just an amazing goalkeeper of the season, in La Liga, and then obviously Robert Lewandowski leading goals. What changed since then? Robert Lewandowski is just not scoring goals anymore. And I think that's just the evolution of Barcelona, where they're gonna have to. And I mean, going into this summer, Barcelona's gonna offload a lot of players. Araujo will probably be gone because he's very valuable, and you can get a lot of money from him. You can't guarantee that both the Jows are staying. I guarantee you that both of them are not staying. Maybe one of them, but not both. You're gonna have to try to offload Rafinha. Try to offload, Ferran Torres if you're able to. You're gonna have to start offloading a lot of the players that make a lot of money for Barcelona to get them back in the black, if you will, get them back in a positive financial situation. If you guys didn't know what black meant, get them in the black meant. In case you guys know, no one with basic financing knowledge knows what that means. But it's just going to take a special type of manager. But when it comes to Barcelona, and I know this for just being the fact that I'm a rival as a rival of Barcelona, I can tell you this. The manager of Barcelona has to have Barcelona ties. Has to. Maybe it's not necessarily a requirement, but I feel like many Barca fans would love to see someone that has Barca ties, has some sort of connection to Barcelona, whether they're a La Masia graduate, played for Barcelona, something along those lines, that there needs to be, in fact, a Barca connection because of the Barca way. I think currently in the situation, you need a manager that is good at player development, because you're not going to be able to go and get players, especially with where they're at financially. You're just not going to be able to get players. So, but on the flip side, you do have La Masia, arguably one of the best academies in football. So you have that at your disposal. So you need someone that can develop players. So that's important. And I think lastly is just I think you just need someone that's very mentally strong, and that's Xavi. Cool, calm, and collected. You'll see the emotions on Xavi, but I think that's just as how he was as a player. Cool, calm, and collected. And so for me, I think Xavi, if Barcelona can do anything, it is try to keep Xavi back on the payroll. All right, guys, we have a big update. Xavi will be staying put at Barcelona. Apparently, the begging did, in fact, work. So, good news if you're a Barcelona fan. You have your manager secured, so now you don't have to worry about that, but you still have your massive, massive financial debt to worry about. But, yeah, so, yay. So, congrats to that. But, anyways, quick update. Now, back to the show. Keep him on this, and also he's still very cheap because he took a massive pay cut to manage Barcelona. So you need to keep Xavi. If anything, try to see if you can change that man's mind because he is honestly the best option for Barcelona. De Zerbi would be interesting. I would love to see what he can do because this is me taking the Madrista out of me. Like I'm putting the Madrista side on to the side. I'm just trying to come in as just an unbiased, just someone that loves football. And obviously, also, I will say as a Madrista though, I need Barcelona to be good. Like I need Barcelona to be good. I cannot have Barcelona be bad by any means. Like, because if Barcelona is bad and it's just Real Madrid, then I have no argument as to why I believe La Liga is the best league in the world. So that's my point. So if you guys think that I want to see the downfall of Barcelona, I don't want to see Barcelona fall apart. I could not for the life of me want to see this club ever fall apart because once again, I need this club to survive for Real Madrid's sake. Because last thing I need is to have this league be not competitive. So kind of like always how I always been saying, Batman needs his Joker. Barcelona is my Joker. I need them to survive. Just like Barcelona needs Real Madrid, Real Madrid needs Barcelona. It is just, there. And once again, this helps me validate my argument that La Liga is the best league in the world. And so, even though some people are going to pick the Premier League, which, by the way, where are they? Where are they where are they in the Champions League? Because last time I saw, I don't see any European teams in the semifinals. Anyways, any English teams in the semifinals. But yeah, for Wromburner, I think you need to understand one La Liga and understand Barcelona because I feel like you went into it, and this is just me. I don't know you very well, but I'm just gonna say this. I don't think you really understood Barcelona when you made your episode where you're like, I'm gonna fix Barcelona because you really didn't. So because one, you're not going to be able to keep a lot of these players. A lot of these players have to go because of the financial situation. And then Hansi Flick, I think that's just a laughable. Once again, it's just a laughable option. He is not the right man for the job. And that's all I'm going to say for that one. Don't take it personal. This is not me being an asshole. This is just me knowing what I know. This isn't going to work for Barcelona.